All right, it is 7:30 and 25 seconds. I'm calling the meeting to order. This is Wednesday, January 22nd. This is a regularly scheduled meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals. If you guys could all make sure your phones are silenced, that means you guys. Everybody off? Okay, that would be great. It's a pretty heavy agenda. We're going to make every reasonable effort to get through this in a proper amount of time. We have a good board of 5 tonight, so that's great. We're going to start with postponements and continuations. So, let's see. The first is calendar number 25-2024. This is the application of Patricia Iodu to allow the alteration of a sunroom and construction of second attic story addition at 223 Middlesex Road. We're going to open and then continue that to February 12th. Okay. Additionally, we are going to open and continue calendar number 30-2024. This is the application of Jake Watkins on behalf of William and Abigail Husberg for the property located at 6 Pratt Island. That will be continued also to our next meeting on February 12th. Okay, and then do we go to other business? Do you want me to say something about that?
Don't need to now.
Not yet, okay. All right, now for our regularly scheduled program. So, I guess we'll just go in order here. Let's start with Gardner Street. Calendar number 28-2024, the application of Travis and Lindsay Creed at the property located at 99 Gardner Street, and this is to allow the renovation and conversion of a 1-story screen porch into a 4-season living space. Would you like to come up and make your case?
Yes.
Approach. So the way we work this, you have to just state your name on the record.
Okay.
And if you want to speak, you have to just step to the microphone, also speak your name, and then we'll be good.
Sure.
Thank you.
You want to go first on that? All right. Travis Creed.
Yep. And Lindsay Creed. Great.
So first, thank you for having us. As we stated, Travis and Lindsay Creed, we're the owners of 99 Gardner Street. We purchased the property back in November of '24. Upon purchasing the property, we did some digging into specifically the screen and porch. We went to the town, went to the board, the zoning board. There was no record of the screen and porch having any permits in the past. We went to pull the original construction of the house, which was built in, I believe, 1940.
1941.
And that also was not on record on the house. So it led us to believe that the screen and porch was original. So we had Bob Hamilton pull and conduct a survey. Come to find out that the house is not conforming on both sides, actually. So the screen and porch is not conforming, and also the garage is not conforming. So, we do have a unique property. It sits right between Walmsley and Gardner Street. So basically from the top of Walmsley all the way down to Gardner Street. It does have a pretty steep slope consisting of many different retaining walls to kind of make sure that the property doesn't slide down into Gardner Street. So from a hardship perspective, we believe for a couple of reasons. One is the steep slopes, the topography of the backyard, and also the existing structure that's in place today. From a consideration perspective, we think that those three are up there.
Can you just state again, when was the house built?
1941.
And you think the screened-in porch was built at that same time?
We do, based on the research that we did from the town. We also met with, I forget the construction, what's the name?
That's right. Well, I was going to say, so built in 1941, and originally there were a couple of permits that we were able to pull from the town. One specific, I think we know specifically.
The roof.
It was like the roof,
And the
our kitchen remodel. I believe that might have been it. And additionally, as Travis kind of mentioned, there was no existing, which, in speaking with Bob Hamilton, said very rare, there was no survey on file. We tried different routes. We spoke to previous owners even, weren't able to find anything. And when he pulled the survey, he said it's kind of, to the best of my knowledge, at the original build of the house, these two structures must have been it's, likely that they were original.
Two structures, the garage and.
Sorry, the garage
house
and.
With the screen and
Correct.
porch.
Yes.
Well, did you
yeah.
know when that part of town would have been zoned and?
Probably in the 40s, yeah.
Right around there.
But no, we'd have to do some research to find out.
Lindsay, do you know what condition the porch is in? Have you had anyone?
Yeah, we
Yes.
did, yes. So we, I know in today's crazy housing market, not many people are doing inspections, but we did have an inspection completed on the house at the time of purchasing the house. And as Travis mentioned, it was important to us knowing, that there's not a ton of square footage to work with and having a family and such, that the screened-in porch, we hoped that, okay, maybe this can become kind of livable space in some way, shape, or form. So we addressed that with the inspector, had him take a look at the foundation. He said, to the best of my knowledge, it looks structurally sound. We went further once we were, the homeowners and closed on the house, living there. This was now about a month ago. We worked with Joseph Kane, who would be likely the builder that we would use if approved. And he went out and actually, kind of looked more closely at the foundation, in which he had said it does appear to be structurally sound and able to kind of withstand, if we were to enclose.
Okay, and you enclose exactly what's there. You're not going to
Correct.
pop out, you're not going to, okay.
The existing footprint, yeah.
Yeah,
Existing
yeah,
footprint.
not making any
Are you
changes.
changing the roof at all? Are you replacing the roof on it?
Not intentionally, no. We want to keep the roof line, we want to keep basically the structure intact and just basically enclose it.
How are
So,
you dragging heat into there?
it would be a split system,
It'll be, okay.
yeah.
So baseboard?
No. Like
Oh,
a
split,
Mitsubishi.
oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Are you going to raise the floor? Is it a step down from the house?
There's a slight step down, I'd say probably 3 inches max from the existing, because there's a door currently that
Right.
leads into it, so it's about a 3-inch drop.
Are you going to raise that?
We'd
so that
we'd
you
want
can-
to, yeah, we'd want to make it level.
John, you're a builder, what do you think?
I don't have any questions for this one.
Aren't they doing such a good job? Like, I'm impressed. Usually people stand up here with the attorneys and. Oh, sorry.
We like
We know Amy too. We were like,
I think
We love attorneys,
we
Amy.
can talk about deliberation, but it'll be this,
Amy helped us, our attorney for purchasing our home,
No
so.
additional volume.
Yeah, no additional, yeah,
They
okay.
did a nice job with their hardships.
Yeah, we don't want to deliberate yet. I shouldn't have started that.
And I think,
conversation.
but I think Woody's right too, and we're not deliberating, I think it is close to the
Yeah.
neighbor's lot line,
It is.
but a screened-in porch might have more sound going through it
Exactly.
than
More
a
privacy.
insulated,
Yep.
Exactly. And we
Yeah.
did, I was gonna say, so we did, guess we've only been at the house since November, but we got to know a little bit, the neighbors, right, that share that fence line, at 97 Gardner, so it's Catherine and Doug, and, they were, no concerns, they were okay and in favor of, us doing so. And then just to kind of further to that, I did speak with, Sarah and James, her husband's name, that live at 94 Gardner, and they're pretty much almost directly across the street from us. And she actually approached us with her, just to share that she's in favor. She thinks, she thought that it could be a nice kind of appealing look, just in the neighborhood to have it, be finished space and have kind of like a window there and such. So.
Okay. You good? Gotta applaud you. I almost want to applaud. That's really nicely done. All right, is anyone in the audience that wishes to be heard on this application? All right, thank you. So if you want to stick around, we'll deliberate tonight. It may take a little while to get there. We've got 2 other applications to hear. But it's up to you.
One more.
Just one more? Boy, we fast track. All right, you're right. And Amy can be long-winded, so stick around.
All right,
Thank you, guys.
Not much longer.
All right, next we have, calendar number 29-2024, the application of Amy Zavatakis and Ruchi Law Group on behalf of Pamela and Richard Shear for the property located at 17 Edge Hill Drive.
All right, I'm using multiple things here, but this should still be relatively quick. Amy Zavatakis, Ruchi Law Group, here on behalf of Richard and Pamela Shear. The Shears are here with me today. 17 Edge Hill Drive is a substantially undersized lot. It's just over a fifth of an acre, and it's in the R1 zone in the Tokenique Association, so private roads. The survey has quite a few different measurements on it because we're trying to capture all of the various nonconformities, but we've got lot width issues, we have setback issues, we have setback measurements both from the front lot line and from the center of the road because it's a private road. And it's a bit of a challenge of a lot. Interestingly, in 1952, there was a variance granted to allow this lot to continue as a separate building lot. The house itself was built in 1906 and has been there since before even the lot existed. In addition to the various nonconformities on the lot, it also has an easement. If you see the garage, this garage is on 15 Edge Hill. The owners of 15 Edge Hill have an easement to go across the property to access their garage. So that further diminishes the buildable area on the lot.
So that access is through their buildable area.
Correct, yes.
And it's a deeded easement.
A deeded easement, that's correct, yes. So, and the buildable area is interesting because Woody and I actually discussed this today. When our surveyor looked at the lot lines, the surveyor used a rear lot width from this property line, which would bring the zoning setback line to here. I know when Woody looked at it, he said, well, you could arguably say this is a side, which gives you a little bit more buildable area, but we still have the problem of the easement. It's still pretty small. So basically we have a existing 1906 house that was built almost entirely in the side and front setback areas.
Or what is now
What is-
considered.
Correct. What's now considered the side and front setback areas. My clients are not proposing a major renovation. It is a renovation of the roof line to basically connect the existing dormers and to remove the chimney. It basically gives them about 104 square feet of new living space. And on this, I had the architect try to, it's a little hard to see, I know, on the plan, so she sort of colored in the new area. So you can see existing, we have this chimney and a number of dormers. So the roof line will still have those existing dormers, but it'll be connected all around. Hopefully that makes sense. I know it's a little difficult. So basically, because our house is within the setbacks, we're increasing the building volume in the setback. There is no addition to the footprint, no addition to the roof height because the rest of the roof is actually taller, and even in this section of the roof, we're not raising the roof ridge. We're just basically expanding within the setback area to connect those dormers and give them a little more living space.
And what are they doing with the space? Why are they doing this?
It will be, let's see. So it's going to give them basically a closet and a bathroom. They're just sort of redoing the layout in that area.
Okay. Obviously, there's no other options here. The entire property is not in the buildable area, so.
The entire house is outside the buildable area, that's correct.
Okay.
I think there's maybe one little corner of it.
Mhm.
But basically, yes, it's all outside of the buildable area. And again, not actually increasing the footprint. My clients did reach out to all of the neighbors. We've submitted letters of support for the file from 12 Edge Hill, 13 Edge Hill, 15 Edge Hill, and 31 Searles Road. And did not receive any letters of any notification of any objection from any other neighbors.
That's great.
Is the chimney that's being removed, is also not, sorry, I'm trying to get that's in the setback also.
The whole,
So
yes,
that's
well, the whole
being-
house is. So yes, so we're removing, the area where the chimney is, in the living space will just give them more living space. I do think if we're looking at it from a sort of what's the visual impact on neighbors, the chimney is more of a visual impact than
It's
anything
reducing,
that
it's
they're
reducing
adding.
volume too, right?
Correct, it's reducing the
So
height.
are they decommissioning a fireplace?
Yes.
If I can explain why the chimney.
Sir, you have to come, just
Well,
if
I'm
you
sorry.
could,
Sure,
absolutely,
sure.
but come up, state your name for the record, please.
Sure.
Thank you.
My name is Richard Shear. How are you guys? When we moved into the house, almost immediately, we got rid of the furnace and the hot water heater, which were in a basement, which flooded during the hurricane. We brought it up, put a new gas unit in the garage, and now the chimney is not serving any purpose
So
whatsoever.
that's, the chimney just was for flue for the furnace?
Correct. That's
There
correct.
was no fireplace also?
No, there never
Up the
was.
chase.
That's correct. Yeah, there are two chimneys now. One has a fireplace that we're keeping, but this is a chimney that serves no purpose now. Thank you.
Great. And Amy, I'm going to ask, just because we always ask, as part of this, any changes to the exterior, any landscaping?
Not that's proposed.
Okay.
The neighbor on this side has a driveway on that side. There's not really any space to put anything new in there, nor has there been any requests from any neighbors to do anything of that nature.
And that neighbor specifically, where the dormer is going to be seen, is supportive of this?
We have not received any comments from, that's 33 Searles Road. We haven't received any comments from from this neighbor. We did receive letters of support from the neighbor that is looking directly at the
That has the
dormers.
easement.
That has the easement.
Of course he supports it. He better. That's great. Okay, Jana?
No, I think I'm good.
John?
Good.
Matt?
No, any questions?
Woody?
Let me just bring it up because it's so unusual. This easement for the neighbor's driveway, maybe just for our record. When was that established? What does it really mean? From what I understand from the surveyor, he couldn't find anything in a deed to specify where it is, what it applies to. So there's nothing that he could depict on the survey that shows what this is.
So it is an easement. So to your point, I've reviewed the easement, and I can pull it up for you since I have my computer if you'd like. But the easement itself isn't mapped on the map, which I think is what the surveyor was looking for. But it is a deeded right to access the garage on the existing driveway and has certain restrictions on who can park on the driveway, et cetera. The owner of 15 can't park in front of the garage, for example. So it is pretty well laid out what the easement is.
Who plows and who paves?
We do. We do it jointly. We had it repaved 3 or 4 years ago, and we paid half and they paid half. The plowing, typically they do because they use the whole driveway, and we do a little bit of shoveling. So it's sort of a joint, both are a joint venture, if you will.
Yeah, if you look, there's a parking area here that can be used by the Shears.
I love this house. I think it's so cute. I can't really factor that into my decision, but I do think it's lovely. I think, is there anything else from you?
No, I mean, I can go through the various variances that we're requesting, but I think Woody has them pretty well.
Do you want to get them on
laid
the
out.
record? We're good? They're on record. Okay, we're good. I won't put you through that. And is there anyone in the audience that wishes to be heard on this application? Boy, this might make record time. I don't know. This is great. Thank you, Amy. All right. Does that conclude our hearings? Okay. Let me just check the agenda and make sure. Wow. Okay, so now we're moving into the deliberation portion of the evening. There is no eating or snacks, but we are going to now decide on these applications, and then you guys will be done and free to go. All right, let's take it in order. Jana, you want to start with the first one?
Sure. I mean, I thought they did a nice job. Sorry, I was deliberating earlier, didn't mean to. I thought they did a nice job of laying out their hardships more clearly than I've heard anybody lay out the hardships in quite a while. So
Agree.
I was very happy about that. This one to me, I think, seems like the minimum adjustment necessary to make it, a more habitable place, to give them the substantial or the meaningful use of their property. So this one I think I'm okay with.
And the hardship.
And the hardships justify it.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, do we need that on the record again?
Well, we have it. It is, the
Okay.
hardship is the steep, the nature of the lot, I think, is what they're claiming is the hardship. It's a very steep lot,
On the steep slope.
the steep slope. Yep.
I had one other note, I can't remember.
I mean, all they're doing is enclosing a
Yeah.
non-conforming, something that's partially non-conforming.
Yeah. Not increasing volume.
Yeah.
No concerns from you, building?
Better for the neighbors too.
Oh,
More privacy, less noise, like, yeah.
And I was thrilled to hear too that they did the inspection. They've also brought in a builder to confirm that it's,
I mean, for a later date, I want to even know why.
they had to come.
They have-
why
I
they have to
agree.
come.
Because it's in a
The walls are already
non-conformance.
there, they're just replacing screens with windows.
Well,
Change of use and
This is not,
potential effect on neighboring property, but.
Well, they're building in the
question.
setback, so.
yeah, huh?
Well, yeah, they're.
Not every work in a setback requires. If it were all interior work. you
Right,
could
but
do
it's the
that.
exterior wall portion that,
Replacing a screen, I don't know, I could argue that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's not impact,
I
it's
had
not
to
a
come
change.
here when I added a slider on Du Bois Street in the setback, so.
So you want to punish everyone? Is
No,
that what's happening? I think it's great. I think they did a fantastic
I don't
job.
have a
Yeah.
problem with I could argue that it's not even necessary, but I'm glad they're doing it, because now at least there'll be something on the record that says this
Has been
screened
approved.
in, now walled-in porch is permissible.
I think we should invite them to be on the board next time. Okay, so we want to
We
make a
have a few
motion?
openings.
We have a few.
I'll move to approve.
second.
All in favor? That's 5-0. Congratulations. You get your porch. Well done.
Nicely done.
Very, very good. Okay.
If you want to serve,
Yes, please get in touch.
Put in my application.
All right, and next we'll move to the property located at, I'm sorry, where did I just lost it? 17 Edge Hill Road. I'll start with you.
Another very good presentation of the hardships. The entire house is built. The
house is a hardship,
entire
yeah.
house is built outside the buildable area and existed before the zoning regulations did. So I don't think there's any question that this is a burdened property, a burdened house. And I think what they're doing is minimal. I think they are properly before us asking for a variance because they're increasing volume in the setback and the non-conforming area, but I think it's absolutely minimal adjustment necessary to address. Taking out the, to your point, taking out
They're also removing some volume in the setback.
yeah, so I have no issues with what they're doing. I think it's, I think there's a hardship, and what they're doing is minimal adjustment necessary to take better advantage of that area of the house.
Smart adjust, 104 feet they're adding. And the deeded easement, I think, is an added
Smart.
complication put on the record as an
Well-
additional hardship.
They can't build the house
There's
on
nothing
top
to
of
do.
that easement,
Yeah,
build them, so.
okay. And I like that they're making a safety improvement, decommissioning of the chimney, which is out of use. Matt,
Yep, sounds great.
good?
Agree with what you're saying.
Matt is a man of many words. John?
I'm good.
Jana?
I'm fine.
Boy, I don't know what to do. What can we pick apart?
These are good
here?
applications.
These
These
are
are
really good
It's
Exactly what-
applications.
easy when we don't have to lead people to the hardships.
It's unbelievable. All right, does anyone make a motion to approve this?
I will.
I'll
Jack.
second.
Second, Jana, all in favor? 5-0, congratulations, well done. I'm gonna broadcast this recording of this to all potential applicants for the future. All right, so now we're moving into other business.
The fun stuff.
Yeah, the approval of the minutes, Woody, who are you missing? Are you missing me?
For November, no, you were there for November.
Yeah. It looks like we're missing, though,
Janet, Janet, Matt.
December.
They're not complete.
That's December.
November, I'm good with.
Okay, November you're good with?
I'm good.
Okay, so you want to make a motion? Yep, it's second. All in favor of the minutes from November, we're good? Okay, and then we're skipping 4. Let's go back, calendar number 1, 23 Old Stone Road. We're going to bump that.
So this is my, what I said, minimum.
Thanks, Amy.
Suggestion by email is, these are complicated discussions to have with witnesses, so to speak, coming before us. To have those 2 hearings, or I think they are hearings, public hearings, at the same time of 4 other applications, I think is a burdensome night and doesn't allow whoever's on the panel to really focus on these relatively complicated things, and then you've got some complicated
We sure do.
applications in February as well. So
What do you recommend?
I think they should be separated.
Special meeting?
I think there should be a special meeting for something,
Okay.
February's tough, though.
because of
That
school
next
vacation.
weekend- The next week is school vacation. I'm.
Sorry, I have to be early
You might be
March.
okay, because you're different school vacation, but.
Yeah.
Can we do it
Could be early
before?
March.
Do we have to give adequate, so we have adequate notice at this point, so we're now a month out.
Yeah, I think we need to talk about it a little bit, though.
Okay.
I don't think we can really act completely on these, because town
Tonight or
council's
then?
down tonight.
Yeah.
Because town council is revealing arguments that have been presented that basically say, maybe the board doesn't have the right to enforce its own conditions of approval.
Is that on both of these, or just, isn't that Edge Hill that's saying that now?
Yes, but it's being,
It would
It's being
could
applied.
apply to both.
it's being applied to 23 Old Stone also. And we have the complication of the zoning enforcement officer taking a position about Edge Hill Drive that's contradictory to what our board conditioned is for Edge Hill
But
Garage.
then, in that case, couldn't the neighbor bring an action that would be reviewable by the zoning board of appeals,
They could.
challenging the ZEO's action?
That is what's happening.
That hasn't happened yet.
No, it hasn't happened yet.
That's not the procedural posture yet. So I think we need to wait for town council to opine on this situation even before we schedule. But
Right.
Yeah.
it probably won't take place when the 4 other applications are being heard. And that's, I think, a good thing.
Yeah, it leads to, what are we doing? You know, we spend a lot of time with these projects.
But that's
trying to
not,
get
but that's,
us fit.
that could be an area of frustration, but if town council opines that it's not in our jurisdiction, then it's not in our unless the town wants to
That's a whole separate discussion.
not agree with its council. But I would imagine that the neighbor in Edge Hill would then put it into proper procedural posture and appeal.
Maybe.
But
It's expensive.
there's an argument that they're outside of their window. Not appeal to court, but appeal to.
Well, there's been another opinion offered by the zoning enforcement officer
That we're
last
out of
week.
time.
Last week, reiterated his opinion. It's not finished habitable space.
So maybe open up the time again.
Yes. But neighbor has to consider appealing, and that's
Right, but Woody, I think,
burden on them.
I think we have to defer to.
That in the town
Yeah,
council?
I'm the only lawyer on this panel, and this is not my area of law, so I don't feel comfortable.
Janice is a lawyer.
No,
It's not your
I
area.
have a law degree, but I'm not an
Right.
attorney.
Okay.
So I agree with you, though. I think this is,
apologize.
no, it's fine.
We're on the record here,
Throw
I
me in
gotta say
that bucket,
something.
too. No, I think you're right, though. I think this is better to find out where it's actually gonna land before we schedule a meeting or try to get, I don't think we need to get in front of it, it doesn't sound like. It sounds like we need to wait and see where this lands before we then figure out if we do need to have a special meeting.
Well, let me just say, the status of 3 Edge Hill, with Barb's help, is that there's to be no CO issued by the building official or the zoning enforcement officer. And that was included in the instructions to them to come here and explain what happened and why, and document what kind of wiring there is and all kinds of things. So that's the current status. It might be good to reiterate that
Okay,
if you feel that would be smart to do, but
I think we still have to wait till town council says that,
that we
I mean, it's on pause.
can enforce,
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
everything's on hold right now until we hear from town council. We're in our rights to prevent them from issuing that CO until this is properly reviewed. So,
I
right?
don't know if we are or aren't, but that's in the hands of town council.
that's been called into question as well.
Right, so it's in the hands of town
Okay,
council.
so there's nothing we can do, okay. Wow.
Really, 23 Old Stone Road, we told them, hey, you gotta stop. We tore down 3/4 of the house that you were supposed to keep. That's not the same project for the board to evaluate, whether you deserve a variance to add more volume there. And they have stopped construction.
So, but unlike Edge Hill, there's no one in your office who takes a different opinion.
So far.
Okay.
Good point.
Did they really tear down that much more?
Oh, you gotta see it. It's like they're starting up.
But it's
like
because
they're
it's,
starting up.
because they found it was structurally necessary to tear it down, right?
But we got a letter from an architect saying they evaluated and they're gonna keep this, and that, and that. And then the plans.
Wouldn't
I
were
just,
Wouldn't
sent.
that
how
been the
in
right-
town, sorry,
Go ahead, no.
how in town can there be a set of drawings that are the approved drawings? And when they're deviated from, nobody says anything?
Well, in
Every
this case,
project
they- in
that I
this case, they
have,
did.
well, that I'm working on right, no, it's because
Which
you,
one?
because a
The
neighbor
neighbor
called,
Oh,
right?
is that what happened?
The neighbor said,
There was
boy, I
an
love the
inquiry
house
on
got
Old
torn
Stone,
down.
like, gee, it doesn't look right, something like that. So
That's
when
if I
the
can show you
letter
that.
Every single
goes,
project that I have would be shut down from all the drawings. Like, where's that disconnect?
I agree, John.
Well,
and that exactly happened on Edge Hill.
Well,
Somebody
but
said-
I actually on Edge Hill, I disagree, because on Edge Hill, somehow those drawings were submitted and approved at the building department with everything they did. They actually didn't deviate from the drawings that were approved from the DOB approved, the DOB stamped or whatever we call it here in town, drawings. They just didn't pick up any of the comments that the board made and put them on the new drawings that were got filed.
They insulated, they had gypsum board on the drawings, but not insulation.
Yeah, but
I'm getting confused
those,
between two.
so on
20
Edge.
Fieldstone, you haven't seen. There are
On-
pictures here, that's, yeah. Quick.
Anyway.
On-
John's talking about.
Yeah, on Edge Hill, they came here with a set of drawings that showed them sheetrocking and doing everything in the ceiling of the
now I know which
garage.
one, the garage one I know about, it's the other one that I thought we were
Yeah.
talking about.
We all
the
said
one that was torn
no,
down.
they still filed those same drawings, so now the building department is looking at a set of drawings, they have no idea that that's not supposed to be there, right? Whether,
Right.
but like this is, I don't know, it blocked out.
Here, yeah. This one, you have to see, I mean, Woody and I went to look at the site.
But I
It's
guess my
it's
point, my
been totally torn
point
down.
for this one though is that I think that what happened should have happened, right? Like they should have to stop.
This is the
and then
front
they
of the
should have
house.
to have
Yeah.
the whole thing reconsidered, right?
Exactly,
Because-
and they did not.
That's what our procedure
So,
has been.
so this
for-
one I think seems like it's working the way it's supposed to, right?
Except that we're getting this argument
No, it's
now,
after
and we
the
have no
fact, though.
business enforcing our own determination stipulations.
So who,
It's
when did
already
that
gone.
But
happen?
this goes back to the
second
enforcement
that they
problem.
found-
No, but my point is that like, they haven't built the new house, correct?
Well,
Like,
they would have,
stopped.
had we not stopped them.
Well, I understand that point, but I think what I'm getting at is that it has stopped, they haven't built the new house, and then it needs to start, the process starts over, correct?
But they're saying they may override us. We can't stop the process. They're saying that's the challenge.
Oh, we don't know yet.
We don't know yet.
I'll be surprised
So,
if that one
Wait.
I
shakes out
I
to
think they're
where.
two different situations.
I think they're two
Maybe
different
dependent on
situations.
the zoning enforcement officer making another determination on Old Stone. That may be different than what he did before, but nonetheless, it's shocking that after 20-some odd years of us practicing the way we have, and telling people, you gotta come back to the board, remember Jeff Williams, hey, you gotta come back, if you tear down more than you were supposed to, you gotta come back. And people did, but now they don't want to.
What was the house by the Tokenique Club? I remember they did this, and we had them move the home into the proper area. And by the way, it was a win for everyone. It did
It's a
slow
better
the process, but it was very successful.
Much better house.
Yeah. So, okay, so we can't address, so these two things, we're gonna wait for town council. What do you,
Is
Gary's right.
town council opining on Old Stone also?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I did meet and talk to them about it.
So was that Pat?
Wilder's representing Old Stone, Masson's representing Edge Hill.
And
Now
Wild is
there's
also
also
representing the
Edge Hill,
neighbor
too.
at Edge Hill.
Correct.
He swings.
Conversation.
So then they know what the
Taking
other
different
person's arguing on.
Completely different.
He'll do it. He'll do it. It'll be great.
So he's gonna know the outcome from what town council said, like.
And is that Patty who's advising us?
Yes. And I did talk to her also about hardship and a couple other things that Gary brought up at a recent meeting too.
Because other towns have a pretty good articulation, I mean, you just search for it, have a pretty good articulation as to what an applicant needs to demonstrate as far as hardship and minimal adjustment necessary, and we just haven't published it.
So how about this? How about we ask to have a session with Patty sometime soon? Could be an executive session perhaps, just a review. We'd have to notice it. It wouldn't be an executive session necessarily, but some
Right, it could be an open
review
session.
of hardship and other things. We can try to talk about these other things too.
Okay, so I'll work with you to get that on the schedule for Patty. Do you want me to say something on the record now? That's fine, you got it?
Yeah, I think so. We need some help, yeah. Need some clarification of what we're doing and how we do it.
Well, while we're at it, should we address number 5, a possible special meeting regarding hardship?
Yes,
That's the same thing, okay. Okay,
That's it.
And is that really kind of 7 also?
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay,
It's kind of-
that's great, we've ticked all these off.
And it seems like other towns have put that in seemingly an application package.
That would be helpful, and it would help people when they come to us, so that it is more clear, they're more prepared. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah,
Trust me, we tell them. They don't always listen.
you know, the other thing that's we've kind of taken forward is I worked on a fining system. We've talked loosely about this, like when someone violates a directive, or they come to ask us for something, the only power we have is not to issue the CO. And if that gets overturned in something like what may come down the road, then we have really no enforcement. So planning and zoning is taking our request for selectmen to see, I mean, other towns do it. They charge penalties and fines if you violate the order of the zoning board or the planning and zoning departments.
Or
So,
just a straight out violation. You have a boat.
Yes.
You have a boat in your front yard.
right.
That we find out about. I mean, there's like 10 of those around town.
Well, I find it interesting what's going on with the Blight Committee. So the Blight Committee is finally starting to enforce
Yeah.
lighted homes. That's never happened before, so I think we're in good company.
That helps.
I think that is good. And probably the most important thing is, like, when are we gonna go to dinner at the Goose? Did we figure that out? Should we go off the record for this? All right. Is there anything else that we need to discuss? Woody? Good.
I'll move to adjourn this meeting.
Second.
All in favor? All right, it is 8:07. Come on.